Hi, superstars. Thanks for joining me. First of all, I hope you, your family, and your friends are safe and sound and managing to adjust to this new order of how we run our lives these days. First session here is on winning. If losing doesn't hurt, winning doesn't matter. From that, you'll gather that I think competition is important. Well, it is. Actually, the way I see life is it's one long series of competitions, and we'd like to win in all of them. That's probably why, as many of you know, I like to start my presentations with the idea that there are only two kinds of people out there. There are those who choose to be valley people and those who choose to be mountain people. Valley people are the ones you bump into at parties, and they start off the sentences the same way every time. I would have, I should have, or I could have. And then you treat it as an excuse for why they honestly believe they're not in control of the life they live. Valley people think that change, the very best, is a threat. And the worst, something they don't want to belong to, because after all, why fix what ain't broke? Valley people think that winning is the same thing as not losing. So for them, a draw is a fantastic result. Valley people are very proud of a t-shirt which says, I will survive. The tragedy of such people, they're losers, but they don't know that they are. On the other hand, there are mountain people. Mountain people decide in life to take the risk of winning. Now, some people find not expression, but an extremely odd, the risk of losing. Because where's the risk in that? I mean, you don't have to practice it. It can be a remarkable gift in life. No, the risk is to take on a mountain you've never climbed in your life before, or to look at the horizon and say, that's only the end of what I can see. It's the start of where I can realize my dreams. Mountain people see change as an opportunity. In my world of sport, I've always seen the ball in the game as the opportunity. I mean, you've got to know where the thing is, or you've got to seek it out. You've got to fight for it so that your team's got it. If you've got it personally, you use it. If a colleague's got it, you support it. And if the opposition happens to win it this time round, you learn from their experience. So the next time you win it, you can use it even more effectively. To mountain people, winning is simply being better than other people call best. And on their t-shirt it says, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. Mountain people are winners, and they know that they are. Well, I believe that's who I'm speaking to today, because otherwise, why would you have joined in? The bit is, you're not born a mountain person or a valley person. It is your choice. You can't always choose or change the circumstances in the arenas of life. We wouldn't have chosen the ones we're in right now, right? But you can always choose or change your attitude. It's when you realize that that's the case, that you understand you're in control of your life and everything that happens in it. And when it comes to attitude, you should understand this. It's all about knowing that the challenge isn't the enemy, it isn't the opposition, it isn't the forces that rail against us. It's ourselves and our ability to raise our game physically, mentally, and emotionally to face that challenge. That's what winning is, when you surely know that you've done that. Results in life are things over which we do not have total control. Other people are trying to get them too. The only thing you have total control of is your own performance. And that's actually, and let me tell you a story about that. It goes back a long time ago to when I was Scottish national coach. I was going round the tracks of Scotland, and every now and again, there'll be different voices round about you, interrupting you. Well, on one occasion, there I was working with these coaches, helping them to understand what coaching's all about and how to make other people great. And out of nowhere came a little voice, Mr. Dick! Well, with a name like mine, you don't turn around straight away because you don't know what's going to come next. Mr. Dick! Mr. Dick! Yes? Will you coach me? Well, not at the moment because I'm coaching these people here. Will you coach me later? Well, yes, when I'm finished here. When's that? Look, go and sit in the stand, keep yourself warm, have a cup of tea, and when I'm finished with these coaches, I promise you, I'll come and work with you. Promise? Yes. See you? Fine. So when I'm finished with you, I go and work. So when I'm finished with the coaches, I go and work with her. She's 10 years of age and she wants to run 100 meters. So I work with her for a few weeks and she lines up for her first race with another 7 kids. On your mark, set, bang! She runs down the track, hurls herself at the line and finishes 8 out of 8 in 18 seconds. Comes running back to me and said, Mr. Dick, I was last. No, you weren't last. I was last. No, you were not last. You were 18 seconds. What do you mean? Well, you've smashed a 20-second barrier. That's really pretty good. And I had you down for 19 seconds, and you're a whole second faster than that. Do you know what this means? No, this means it's your lifetime best performance. It's your own personal world record. In some ways, you're a first. What do you mean? You're the first athlete I've ever coached who's on 18 seconds for 100 meters. In a few weeks, she's got another race to run. What do you think winning is now? Well, you might think it's to win the whole race. No, if it's in 19 seconds, she's not won at all. But we killed our definition of winning. Winning is being better today than you were yesterday, every day. That's the way we all have to behave. And she keeps on going till one day, of course, she's a one and only. A one and only in her life against her challenges. Because that's all we can do in life, is to consistently raise our game. The challenges are there simply to push us forward, to raise our game, so that we can be all that we can become in life. So the tougher the arena, the higher the mountain, the bigger the obstacle in your way, the more you're motivated and driven to raise your own performance. That's what they're there for. They're not there to stop you going forward. They're there to test your resolve, to be all that you can become, to keep going, and to get to the top of every mountain that's in front of you. And the fact is, you have to take them on. Why? Because you can't learn to climb mountains by going around them. You have to face them. They're there to be climbed. And if you climb them, that prepares you for the tougher ones to follow. That's the only reason you climb mountains in the first place. In fact, if you're a real mountain person, you look for the mountains other people wouldn't dare to climb, because you'll be better prepared for the even tougher ones to follow. So does this only apply to this little girl and to us? It goes all the way through to elite level. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go back to Beijing and Usain Bolt in the Olympic Games 200 meters. So here he is in lane 4, fourth from the right of your screen in a gold vest. Just a few days ago, he set the world record in the 100 meters. And it looks like he's trying the 100 meters world record again in the bend as he takes the opposition apart. But halfway, he's virtually home, isn't he? But watch him, poetry. And he's still going. He's still pushing it. Obviously, he's going for a gold medal, but it's more than that. It's a world record. It's a world record, and for him, of course, a personal best. Let's look at the bend again. When it comes to halfway, there, 100 meters gone, that's 9.96 seconds on the bend, faster than anybody in history had ever run before. So again, he's destroyed the opposition. He knows that because he sees a big screen at the far end of the stadium. But look at him going. He's stopped competing with them now, hasn't he? Who is he competing with now? Look at his face. Who is he fighting at this point? It's Usain Bolt. And as I said, a world record. But at the end of the day, quite simply, his lifetime best. All he's done is try to be better today than he was yesterday. But sometimes all three of these things don't go together. I mean, a lifetime best, a world record, and a gold medal. Surely that's the way it always is. But let me take you back to Christchurch and the Commonwealth Games. On the last day, everybody was looking forward to the 1500 meters. Why? Because most of us, you know, what coaches are like, we look at the warm-up area, we look at the training tracks, we see how people are moving. We're not supposed to do it, but we're checking their times on our own stopwatches. And it was pretty clear that John Walker was on course for a world record. Well, it came the night, wonderful evening. Any of you who know the South Island in New Zealand, almost a pink glow in the sky as the 1500 meters started, and off he went. And at the end of it all, John Walker did in fact break the world record. Unfortunately, Philbert Bailly broke it by more. Now there's a bummer. You know, you break the world record and you get a silver medal. Now I guess he was pretty disappointed in the color of medal he got, but how could he be disappointed? How could the nation be disappointed? How could any of us be disappointed in somebody who simply put it all on the line and delivered the lifetime best performance? As I say, results are not things over which you have total control. But let's look at another part of winning. Sometimes winning's got nothing to do with the measuring tape. It's got nothing to do with the stopwatch. It's how you handle yourself. It's your demonstration of courage, of character. You see, a lot of people say that you learn much of somebody's character by the way they win. But I think you'll learn all of somebody's character by how they handle defeat. Let me take you back again in a moment of history. It's the Rome World Championships. I'm coaching a young man called Daley Thompson. Now, Daley at this point was a double Olympic champion, world record holder. He'd never faced defeat in any of his decathlons. And here he was, carrying an injury, going into a world championships. Any of you who know anything about decathlon know this. It's a grueling 2 days work. It's really tough, every single event. Well, it came to the last event, and Daley clearly wasn't going to win. He wasn't. Not only was he not going to win, he was not going to be in the medals. And in the 1500 meters, the last event of the decathlon, the gun went. It came to the last lap. Everybody in that stadium knew that Daley was not going to get a gold medal. But what he was showing was a depth of character that few people would have thought possible in such a champion, because he was willing to push himself all the way through to the end. As he passed each section of the stand, something wonderful happened. They all rose on their feet and applauded him. Every section of the stand, as he went round that last lap, down the back straight, it was like a kind of a Mexican wave. He came into the home straight. And I tell you this, I've never heard a crowd so deafening at any game or any sport in my life. There were people actually crying for him as he came down that home straight, cheering him on as if he was going for a gold medal. And he finished it. He saw it through. So what I'm trying to say is that in many contests of life, it's not the fact that you have won. It's how you fought. That's the measure of winning. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes a lot of sense to me. So when it comes to summing up winning so far, I think we could capture that by looking at something like the London Marathon. You know, in the London Marathon, only one person can win the respective event. Men's, women's, able-bodied Paralympian. Only one person can do that. But there are thousands of other people out there. What is winning for them? Well, for many people, it's have I done a faster marathon than I've ever run before? For others, it's just having to complete the whole thing. That's the win. And for others still, it's the very fact that they've been able to spend hour upon hour training in a way they've never trained before, just to get to that starting line and to get into the event. At the bottom end of all of that, of course, it's how they competed, how they produced, who they are in that discipline. It's the character and it's the courage. One thing I realized a long time ago was that real winners in life understand time. They only have so much time in any arena that they enter to deliver what they have to deliver, to go for, however they're defining win. Oliver Wendell Holmes described that beautifully in the following words. Many people die with their music still in them. Why is this so? Too often, it's because they are always getting ready to live. Before they know it, time runs out. What I want for you always is to make sure that you've played every last note that you have to play of your music in your arena. But what do winners feel when they win? When it's really worked for them? Well, I guess that was best summed up by a young woman in what I think is my favorite piece of video of all time. First of all, she'd taken on the Australian government in defense of the Aboriginal nation to change their way of life, and she succeeded. Secondly, she discovered that her husband wasn't well. If things went wrong, who's going to pay for his treatment? Thirdly, she was the person who lit the Olympic flame. Can you imagine that? Standing up there, the greatest television audience in the world watching you at that moment, demonstrating the most wonderful piece of symbolism I believe that there is in sport, that you can never extinguish the flame of the human spirit. And just a few days later, she has to go into the arena and fight for a gold medal. I'd like you to listen, please. Listen to Kathy Freeman talking to us about you and I in our arena.
On your marks.
Life for a while has been anything but normal for me.
Set.
You know, I'm just this simple thing, simple human being, you know. I can't quite understand what's actually happened to me. I think there's always a part of me that doesn't want to deal with it because it's so overwhelming. It's happening to me now, but I'm sort of this outsider looking in.
Has climbed mountains in your life, and you've got more mountains to climb. Some of them, you get into the foothills and people say to you, you shouldn't be climbing that mountain, do something else. But it's your mountain and you're going to climb it. You know before you start that you could stumble sometimes and fall, but you learn how to pick yourself up. You keep going, and you also know that you can get hurt sometimes. But in these moments, you know who to look to help you get back on your feet and keep going until one day you're stood there at the top of the mountain. But it's a bit like Kathy says, it's not how you thought it was going to feel. It's like she says, she's on the outside looking in. And what do mountain people do? What do they think when they get to that point? They think, call that a mountain? Now show me a real one. Because that's what you're there for. As I said, the tougher the mountains you climb, the better prepared you are for the stuff that follows. So let me leave you with a couple of words that I first came out with my two daughters, Erin and Cara, when they were growing up. Like all kids, they stumble sometimes. Sometimes they just fell short of what they were trying to achieve, or other people nipped in before them. And when that happened, we'd have a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, I'd always say the same things. You are the best in the world at being who you are. Don't ever try to be someone else. Just be better at being you, and you'll always touch your mountaintops. Listen, great speaking to you today. Look forward to speaking again. Take care till the next talk.
Gold, always believe in your soul. You've got the power to know you're in